Hi Mark, thanks for taking the time to watch the clip. It was quite a challenge to shoot it unscripted in a BMW dealership live with customers everywhere. But I'm looking forward to meeting in person in Tempe, Arizona. Have a great day. Hi, my name is Phillip Ibrahim. Over the last 17 years I've had a successful career selling cars worldwide. Since 2001 I started my own company and sold nearly 5,000 automobiles to people of every demographic. There's been tremendous change in the technology of automobiles, but one thing hasn't changed. People still enjoy dealing with a very professional and knowledgeable salesperson. Today I'd like to talk about that. Hi Mark, this is Phillip.
Hi again. When I sell a car to a client, I like to follow a 5-step outline just to keep my sale flowing in a general direction. I like to meet and greet the client, qualify them where I understand their needs, understand what it is that they'd like to have, and what their hot buttons are. Then I like to land them on the product, demonstrate product, create the desire to purchase that product, and obviously close the deal. So, one of the steps that I really enjoy is to sit with a client in the car in the showroom, whether it's the car they're about to purchase or a car that is similar to that car. And it's very important to make sure the client is comfortable, so I adjust their seat, make sure they're sitting in a way that's intimate, and we can talk very openly and honestly about what it is that this car has to offer. It's a great opportunity to integrate technology into the sale because these cars are so sophisticated and it's hard to get everything in on a demo ride and they're concentrating on driving. So what I like to do is talk about the technology while sitting in the car. And once we've done that, we can really demonstrate it on the road because they have an idea of what to expect. And when things happen that we've talked about, it really cements that technology as a reason for that car to stand out in their mind above all the other competitors that are out there. I enjoy that opportunity, and sometimes people don't have an interest in technology or they don't want to open the hood and look. Sometimes, very gently, you can prod them and say, why don't we look at it, and you can really teach them something without sounding like an engineer. When they find that that's such an unintimidating process, it really helps them along, and when they've learned something from you, they look at you as a salesperson in an advisor role as opposed to an adversarial role. Hi again. An important part of the group dynamic is being able to relate to salespeople. I spent 17 years selling cars. Since 2001, I sold 5,000 cars. I didn't do it by myself. So each day I'd meet with each of the salespeople and we'd do some training and we'd do some opportunities where we could share ideas. And I think that's very important in teaching technology because each of the salespeople has their own voice. When they express something in their own way, as long as they get the message across accurately, it's important for the authenticity of them to use their own voice. And that's part of the training that I used over the years.
My name is Phillip Ibrahim, and I'm here with Adrian from BMW Gallery. He's one of the sales folks here. We have a few minutes to talk about BMWs and integrating technology into the sale. Adrian, I'm just wondering, how do you feel about the clients with all these new technological advances in cars? Do you find that it's easy to integrate that into the sale? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We get customers every day interested in new technology that's available, and BMW is one of the leaders in the industry, and we try to explain them as much as possible, and about the technology, and the best way to find out is take them for a ride, and then they can find out what's BMW all about.
I think that's true. One of the things that I've always thought about sales is when you're sitting in the car with the client and talking with them, it's probably the best, most intimate moment that you have. And it's important that you engage them in the technology at the level that they feel comfortable. You don't want to overwhelm them with technology, but what you do want to do is you want to express your knowledge of the automobile so that they can feel that you're an advisor. And when you're advising them and you're telling them about the technology, they can trust you more. Do you feel that that's part of the process that you're used to or that you see every day?
Yes, obviously product knowledge for us, first of all, is very important. Then that generates authority toward the customers. So the way I do it and the way we do it here, we try to explain first each model technology-wise, what the car does and everything else. Then we go for a ride so the customer can experience what technology is all about, and then when we come back, we can share thoughts about the ride, what the customer thinks about different things in the car, and we hope that that creates like an experience for a customer at least at that stage.
At what point during the sales process do you feel that you've created the desire in the customer? Do you sit with them in the car before you go on your test drive? I've always found that sitting with them in the car before you leave and making sure they're comfortable and adjusting the seats for them, and at that point you can really discuss the technology of the car and how this car suits their needs from the information
Yeah, absolutely.
you've gleaned.
That's the way you should do it. You sit with the customer in the car and explain, every single button in the car, what the car does, make the customer feel comfortable in the seat first, and then explain what each button in the car does, what's the role of each button. And then again, you go for a ride, and then, you go from there.
Have you heard about BMW's new diesel that they're bringing to the US?
Yes, they are bringing 2 diesel engines next year. They are quiet about which model is going to be available. I'm assuming maybe the 3 Series and maybe one of the X5s will be available diesel, but we cannot wait for the news about that.
BMW's #1 diesel seller worldwide, I believe, is the X3 actually. And what I've read and understood about it so far is that it's a twin turbocharged model. Diesel uses compression to fire within the engine, and the reason diesel is so efficient is because there's actually more energy in each gallon of diesel than there is in gasoline. There's actually 15% more energy in the actual gallon of diesel.
Yeah.
It's slightly a little bit thicker than gasoline, so when it's injected into the engine, it combusts by way of compression and heat as opposed to a spark. So there's actually no spark plugs and no wires. Not that those are really trouble anymore, but it allows the engine to be a little bit different in its design, and it's built a lot heavier than a gasoline block in terms of structural durability, not in terms of weight. And that allows the engines typically to last quite a bit longer because they also don't run at as high an RPM. But that's generally what diesel is all about. BMW's diesel is very unusual in that it's a performance car, not like some of the old grandfather diesels. It's really actually a performance car, and it's quite fast. It almost puts out 300 horsepower. So it's quite an amazing thing. The torque is extremely high, and one of the challenges in sales is, without sounding like an engineer, trying to explain to a customer what torque really feels like when you drive the car. And it's probably one of the biggest challenges in sales of automobiles, trying to let a customer feel and understand torque without sounding too much like a technical maven.
Yes, exactly. And the customer, actually, torque is important to many customers. I mean, this is the ultimate driving machine. So we have very educated customers. They come here, they sometimes know more than we do about the cars. People go to race cars and they know a lot about the cars. So torque is very important to many customers. So we're very excited about new diesel engine with that kind of torque.
Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
It was nice to meet you, and thanks for taking a few minutes and talking with me.
Thank you very much.